Hey everyone, I'm Cary Smith and I'm with Client First Capital. And I'm sitting here with Cheri Turner.
Hi, everyone.
And Cheri and I, we're both with Client First Capital. And Cheri, our topic today is I think this is a topic a lot of people are going to want to know more about. And the topic is what some financial advisors won't tell you unless you ask. And
hmm
so, when you have a relationship with a financial advisor, it's important that that relationship be built upon, trust and honesty and openness. And
hmm
so knowing some of the right questions to ask, I think is key to starting off with a really good, healthy relationship.
Absolutely.
And so we'll talk about some of the questions that you should ask that the financial advisor probably won't tell you right up
Right.
front, or at least some of them won't, unless you ask. So
hmm
the first question is, are you a fiduciary
mm
at all times? And the at all times part of that question is critical because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who are fiduciaries, but they're also duly registered, or what's called a dual hat is another term we use. And what that means is they're registered as a fiduciary, but they're also registered with their broker dealer. And
hmm
so sometimes they're a fiduciary, which means they're required to put your needs above all else, even if it means less income for them, right? Less earnings.
hmm
But if they're a broker dealer, they could be, incentivized by commissions and other things that don't put your interest first. And so it's critical to know. And although you hear the word fiduciary a lot, less than 10% of financial advisors are a fiduciary 100% of the time.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
that's a critical question to ask.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's a great one, Carrie. That, and then you talk about how some individuals who might be fiduciaries, but are also limited by the products that they personally can offer. So, you can't maybe offer the best because maybe that lies elsewhere. But
Yeah, good
definitely a
point.
great question to ask. Yeah. So another good one that I find a lot of people are concerned about are what are your fees and how do you get paid? I find in the financial industry, financial transparency is so important. There's so much worry and distrust and fraud out there that being completely transparent is extremely important. So you want to see an advisor who has their fees transparent on their website. You want to understand, are they making what they call AUM, or a percentage of assets under management? Are they subject to commissions and kickbacks and other sources that could essentially lead to some potential conflicts of interest? So you really want to be aware of all those sources of income that it kind of plays along in with that fiduciary factor, right? That it's not creating
Yeah.
any conflict of interest and ensuring that financial advisor is making the best choices for you.
Yeah, good points. And although assets under management, AUM that you mentioned, that's common, but so is getting paid a commission, right? And so forth. Those are pretty common as well. And
Mm-hmm.
then also some firms will offer you a fee only, right?
Yes.
And so typically they're not managing your assets, but what they're giving is financial advice and financial planning, and they'll
Mm-hmm.
do it either for an hourly rate or for a retainer in which you have access to them for retirement planning, investment strategies, tax strategies, all of those for a flat fee.
Right, right. And there's even a fee only website where you can look up different advisories that operate that way.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then, also another important question is who's managing my money?
Mm-hmm.
And so, you have a relationship with the person that you're considering, but it's important to know, are they managing your funds directly?
Right.
Or are they outsourcing that to a third party? Is or is it someone else within their company and their organization, just not them, right? Another person or another team of people that do the asset management.
Right.
But one of the reasons I think this is a critical question, one, you just want to know who's managing your money.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure that it's this you're getting what you're paying for, right? Also, do you have access to that person, right?
Yes.
And their process. Is it being outsourced to like a robo advisor and something that, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's important to know who's managing my money. At Client First Capital, we manage our clients' money directly, right? So we don't outsource it or give it to another team. But not everyone does it that way. There's a lot of different ways that's handled within the industry.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And then another kind of point of concern for a lot of people is how often and how do you communicate with us? For some firms, especially the large firms, you may only hear from or see your advisor once or twice a year. A lot of them have many clients, and so it's difficult to keep up and necessarily see those individuals as many times as they would like. Whereas at other firms, at the smaller firms, at Client First Capital, we have 4 regular meetings throughout the year, and kind of sprinkle those throughout. Additionally, you'll want to really understand, how do you communicate with your advisor, right? Are you just calling into the office and calling through to the admin and leaving messages, or are you able to communicate with that individual directly? Do you have their cell phone number? Can you reach out in case of emergencies? And those types of things, ensuring that they're making themselves accessible and available to you.
Well, communication is key for any relationship, and you want to have a strong relationship with your financial advisor. You're trusting them with so much, and so But to your point, Client First Capital, one of the things that we do is we make sure we know how our clients want to be communicated with. Right?
Right.
Some prefer text, some like an email. When they have their meetings, some like a video call, some like a phone call. And then to your point, they typically have our cell phone number, right? And they'll call us or text us or email us, whatever they prefer. But whatever a company does, it's important to know how often you'll meet with them and how accessible they are. Because outside of these regular meetings, things happen. And when these things happen, it's critical that we talk to our financial advisor.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So we covered some good ground. So we looked at 5 key questions. So one question to ask is, are they a fiduciary at all times? How do they get paid and what are their fees? Who's managing my money?
Right.
And although I think I am pretty good at counting, it's only 4, not 5.
Right.
And how often will you communicate with me, and what does that communication look like? And so those are critical questions that you don't always get that information right up front, and you need to ask, but they're important questions. And so, but if anytime you want to know more about how we serve our clients and what we do at Client First Capital, you can learn more about us at clientfirstcap.com. From there, you can reach out to us, schedule an appointment, you can sign up for our newsletter, you can get a link to our videos like this one. And hopefully you've found some value in this video today. If you did, give it a like so that other people can see these videos as well. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you.